Have you ever thought that abandoned train tracks, rusting rail cars, or empty tunnels are just remnants of history? The answer is no. Behind thick layers of dust lie shadows never meant to be seen. Behind the screech of metal wheels are screams swallowed by the dark. And behind each seemingly harmless tale is a chilling warning for those who are too curious. Tonight, I'll tell you 3 true stories, shared by people who came face to face with fear in places where no one was ever supposed to be. Make sure your doors are locked, your headphones are on, and whatever you do, don't look behind you. Story 1. The Stranger in the Dark. When I tell this story, I know some people will think I'm exaggerating, but I swear, everything you're about to hear is true. And if you've ever snuck into an abandoned train yard to get creative, you might rethink that after hearing this. I'm a graffiti artist, or as some call it, a vandal. I don't really care. I just love the rush of painting, of spraying color across rusted metal, especially in places nobody visits. Rotting train cars on deserted rail lines are my favorite canvas. Quiet, isolated, no cops, no rival taggers ruining my work. That night, I went with Lucas, a close friend since high school. He doesn't paint, just likes to come along, smoke a bit, chill while I work. We arrived at a remote stretch of tracks far from the city. Dusk had just fallen. The air was damp and cold, but the silence was perfect. The night started like any other. I picked a clean car, no tags, no mess. Excited to be the first to hit it, I got to work. After about 20 minutes, I'd finished 3 big pieces across 3 connected cars, a continuous mural I was honestly proud of. Lucas just sat a little ways back, smoking. He never picked up the can, and I didn't expect him to. We were chatting when we heard it. Clang! The sharp crash of metal from behind us. We froze. The mood changed instantly. I couldn't tell if the sound came from inside the train or from outside. But it wasn't random. It was deliberate. I pulled out my phone to record, part proof, part content. But just as I hit record, an empty spray can came flying out of the dark and landed hard beside us. And a high-pitched voice screamed, "You're not supposed to be here!" We bolted. Our feet crunched gravel under the faint moonlight. Behind us, fast footsteps. Then, bang! A real gunshot. I can't describe what that moment did to my body. My chest seized, my ears rang. We ran all the way to the main road. Lucas nearly fell trying to keep up. When we reached the car, we just sat there, panting, silent. Neither of us said a word. Neither of us wanted to admit it had just happened. I couldn't call the cops. I had trespassed, but I couldn't shake the feeling. And what haunted me the most wasn't over yet. 2 weeks later, I went back, during the day. This time, I had my Glock 17, just in case. The trains were still there, but my 3 tags were gone. Someone had painted over them in thick, smeared red, like blood. Not random, not angry, intentional. I kept looking around. One of the last train cars had its door slightly open. I stepped inside, and I froze. Nothing inside, except one metal chair in the center of the floor, chains and old ropes scattered around it. The stench of bleach was so strong I nearly choked, as if someone had tried very hard to clean something. I pulled out my phone to take a photo. Clang. Another bang. From the next car over. I didn't think. I didn't check. I ran. Faster than I ever had. I don't know who or what was there that night. But sometimes, when the night is quiet enough, I still hear the echo of that gunshot and feel like someone is standing right behind me. Story 2. The Darkness in the Tunnel. I never thought that one final trip back to my hometown would nearly stop me from ever returning to the city. It was early summer. just a few days left before I flew to Germany for my study program. But instead of staying home watching movies like usual, I felt the urge to relive a little piece of my reckless youth. Back in high school, my friends and I used to train hop. Yeah, we'd jump onto moving freight trains that rolled through our small town. There was this secluded stretch of tracks that cut through the woods and led into a long tunnel under the river. We used to ride the train into the tunnel, then jump off on the other side and walk back to our cars. This time, I went alone. Around 3 p.m., I parked on a dirt road and followed the tracks through the woods. The air was muggy, damp with the smell of moss, but better than the dry, suffocating heat back in town. I waited maybe 10 minutes before I felt that familiar hum on the steel. A train was coming. As the freight cars rumbled past, I grabbed a handrail and pulled myself up. Smooth, like I'd done it 100 times. But just as the car I was in rolled into the tunnel, I saw a flash. Not the light from the train, not a flashlight, just a flicker, like the blink of a camera. And then I felt it. A freezing hand grabbing my ankle. I screamed and kicked on instinct. Another hand grabbed at my pants. In a blind panic, I screamed, kicked again, and scrambled onto the roof of the car. I lay flat, heart pounding. Whatever was under me, I didn't want to know. As soon as the train cleared the tunnel, I jumped down onto a patch of gravel. My back was soaked with sweat, my hands shaking. I looked back, and I saw them. 2 silhouettes, standing motionless in the tunnel's mouth. Just shadows, watching me. I froze. Then I ran. But then I remembered. My car was still parked on the other side of the tunnel. To avoid going back through, I'd have to walk a 10-kilometer detour over a forest bridge. Not happening. So I turned around and walked back toward the tunnel. This time, with a rock in one hand and my phone in the other, flashlight on, and a gunshot sound effect queued up from YouTube. Halfway in, I heard it. A sharp clicking noise, like someone clicking their tongue. I shouted, "Back off! I have a gun!" Then played the sound. The loud bang echoed down the tunnel. The clicking stopped. I didn't wait. I ran the rest of the way, gasping when I finally saw daylight. I turned around, and they were still there. 2 figures, but now I could see more. One of them was holding something long and metallic, like a pipe or a machete. And then a scream, high-pitched, twisted, animal-like. No, not animal, not human either, just wrong. I didn't stop running until I was in my car, speeding down the road. I didn't call the cops. Who would believe a trespasser? All I know is this: I will never, ever step inside that tunnel again. Story 3. The Child in the Dark. I've worked for the New York City subway system for 7 years. And believe it or not, nothing really surprises me anymore. I've seen it all: drunks, fights, people passed out on benches. I used to think I'd become numb to it. But there was one night, just one, that still sends chills through my spine. It happened during my shift at High Street Station, an old underground stop in Brooklyn. That night, the place was eerily empty. Not a single passenger in sight, just the buzzing of flickering fluorescent lights and the hollow echo of the tunnels. I was mopping the floor when, clang! A loud metallic crash echoed from the tunnel. I jumped, dropping the mop. That wasn't a train. It sounded like someone had hurled a rock at the rails. I stood there, listening. 1 minute passed. Nothing. I told myself it was rats, or concrete falling loose. But 10 minutes later, clang! Louder this time. I could feel the vibration in my chest. I cautiously stepped toward the edge of the platform and peered into the tunnel. Pitch black. I couldn't see anything. I pulled out my phone to report it, and that's when I heard it. A child's voice. "Mister, help me, please." The voice was faint, raspy, like it was crawling out of the ground. I froze. I'm not easily rattled, but a child calling for help in the dark? I couldn't ignore that. I stepped down onto the tracks, heart pounding. My old phone flashlight barely lit a few feet ahead. I called out, "Are you hurt? Where are you?" Silence. Then, the voice came again, closer this time. "I'm just ahead. Keep walking." Something about that sentence made my skin crawl. I swallowed hard and took a few steps forward. My eyes slowly adjusted, and then I saw it. A small shape, like a child, standing on the tracks, back turned to me. But then, I saw something else. Another figure, much taller, standing directly behind the child, completely still, silent. I couldn't move. My whole body locked up. I stepped back, slowly, carefully. The child turned to face me, and in the dim glow, I saw its eyes. Wide, pure white, empty. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I just ran. I climbed back onto the platform like something was chasing me straight from hell. As I reached the stairs, I heard a voice echo from the tunnel. "Mister, where are you going?" I didn't turn around. I sprinted up and called the police. Less than 10 minutes later, they arrived. I told them everything. At first, they weren't sure what to believe, until one of the officers came back from the tunnel. He was holding something, a small child's shoe, brand new, no dirt, no dust, and it was found exactly where I saw the child standing. That night, police searched the entire station. No child was ever found. They checked missing persons reports. No matches. After that, I requested a transfer. I never worked nights in Brooklyn again. And sometimes, when a train passes through High Street Station, I swear I feel a freezing chill brush the back of my neck. And once, just once, when the train stopped for a second too long, I saw a little boy in the tunnel, waving goodbye. Closing. Still hear the sound of train wheels echoing in your head? Still feel like someone's watching you from the shadows? Maybe it's all in your mind. Or maybe it isn't. If you've ever experienced a night you can't explain, a moment that chills you to this day, share it in the comments. And if you're brave enough, your story might become the next nightmare on this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Sleep well, if you dare.